Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the District 14 Speech Contest Training, How to Hold a Tall Tales Contest. I am Joanne Sheets, and I serve as the District 14 Contest Team Chair. Please help me welcome the contest team members. DTM Debbie Thompson, Teresa Middleton, DTM JD Dirkschneider, DTM Barbara Laracy, DTM Linda Rogers, Trina Mackey, and Denise James. There are a couple of housekeeping reminders that I need to share tonight, and I'm going to read those since we're recording the training. I'll read the District 14 video and photo release statement. By attending this meeting or training, I consent and authorize District 14 to copyright, use, and publish any of the images in this format, photographs, videos, etc., taken of me. I understand these images may be used for a variety of purposes and may appear on the District 14 website, social media, promotion materials, or any other media. We're so happy that you're here today. I want to share a few Zoom navigation tips with you as well. Please mute yourself unless you're speaking. Leave your video on if possible. We would love to see you. And during the PowerPoint, use the side-by-side view. Chat is available so everyone can chat individually or privately. As you are aware, the contests this year are the Tall Tales Speech Contest and the International Contest. The club contest for Tall Tales this year the contest should be done by the end of September. The format is online or in person, and clubs get to choose whether they do it online or in person. The area contest should be completed by the end of October. Be reminded that this is an in-person contest only. The division is completed by the end of November, and it is also in person only. The international contest in the spring of 2025, clubs need to have their contest completed by the end of January. And again, clubs get to choose whether it's online or in person. Area by the end of February, in person only, and divisions by the end of March, in person only. Divisions may combine their Tall Tale contest with their international contest in March if they desire. Let's get started. How to hold a Tall Tales contest. I will be your presenter tonight. And we're going to talk about several things. We're going to talk about the content of the contest, the timing, contestant eligibility, officials, forms, judging criteria, the contest, and those mean contest gotchas. And then we will have a Q&A session. As we plan for our contest, we want to be sure we have the most current speech contest rule book. So visit Toastmasters International website and download the 2024-2025 rule book. You will find rules and instructions designed to help you plan and hold a terrific Tall Tales speech contest. The Tall Tales speech is a highly exaggerated story that has a plot with a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has action, and it leaves the audience wondering, is this true or not? There is no topic limitation, and contestants must create their own speech, and it must be original. Remember that 25% or less of the speech may be devoted to quoting, paraphrasing, or referencing someone else's content. and the story cannot be adapted from another source, such as a children's or fiction books. This speech is a little bit different. It is 3 to 5 minutes in timing. If the speech is less than 2 minutes, 30 seconds or more than 5 minutes, 31 seconds, the contestant will be disqualified. In order for us to hold a terrific Tall Tales contest, we must absolutely have contestants and officials. For the contestants, to be eligible to compete in any official Toastmasters speech contest, you must be a paid member of a club in good standing. Good standing means 8 or more paid members, of which 3 are renewals. And remember that eligibility must be maintained at all levels: the club, the area, the division, and the district. Therefore, make sure that contestants have paid their dues by October 1st, that it's documented in Club Central and their clubs are in good standing. A member in more than one club can compete in more than one club contest. However, a member can only compete in one area contest, regardless of where it is in the world. Be sure to check out the rule book, page 7, section 2, items C10 and 10A that shares this information with you. Remember I said we have to have officials? Yes, we do. At each level of the Tall Tales contest, a specified number of voting judges and officials are required. And if you will notice that for each level, contest chair, chief judge, tie-breaking judge, ballot counters, and timers are required. For the voting judges at the club level, you need 5 of those unless it's impractical. For the area contest, you need 5 as a minimum from each club in the area. And for the division contest, you need a minimum of 7 judges from each area in the division. And then when we get to the district, we need a minimum of 7 from each division. Notice in each of these, in the club, area, and division, it requires 2 ballot counters. Well, when we get to the district, it requires 3 ballot counters. Keep that in mind. We also need forms. And the forms help us tremendously. And there are forms for everybody. There are forms for the contestants, the judges, the counters, and the timers. But for the contestants need speaker certification of eligibility and originality form. It certifies that the contestants meet the eligibility requirements and that their speech is original. And then the contestants also need the contestant profile form, which provides information about the contestant to be used during the interviews at the contest. Judges need forms also, and we have them for them. They need the judge's certification of eligibility and code of ethics. This form certifies that the judges meet the eligibility requirements, and it provides the standard on which the contestants are judged. Remember to read the back. That's my #1 tip tonight, to remember to read the back of the form. Then there is the judge's guide and ballot. The judge's guide and ballot provides the judging criteria and explains it on the back of the form. Remember what I said? Remember to read the back of the form. For the judge's guide and ballot, the contest team highly recommends that you provide the contestants with a copy of this guide and ballot so that they will know what they're being judged on. And we hope that you will come on Tuesday, August 27th, because Debbie and JD will talk in depth about judging criteria for a Tall Tales contest on Tuesday. So please keep that in mind as well. Remember to read the back of the form. That's my key theme tonight for forms. The tie-breaking judge's guide and ballot is a little bit different because the tie-breaking judge must list all of the qualified contestants in the order that they placed, not just first, second, and third. And again, the judging criteria is on the back of the form. Remember to read the back. The next form is the counters tally sheet. The counters use the tally sheet to tabulate the results of the contest. Each contestant receives points on the voting judge's ballot for being ranked first, second, and third place. All of these forms can be found in the Tall Tales contest kit on Toastmasters International. Earlier, I mentioned that this contest is 3 to 5 minutes. The speech is 3 to 5 minutes. The timers use the speech contest time record to document each contestant's speech length. For the Tall Tales contest, the green signal shows at 3 minutes, the yellow signal at 4 minutes, and the red signal at 5 minutes. The next form is the results form. And this is used to document and announce the winners at each level. Third place, second place, and first place is the order that they are documented on the results form. We'll mention this form a little later in the presentation. And then the last form is the notification of contest winners. So this form certifies that the winner and the alternate are qualified to participate in the next level speech contest. And contestants' names are listed in the order in which they placed. And if you'll notice, it's not just first, second, and third. It includes all of the qualified contestants on this form. Oh, I mentioned judging criteria earlier. Let's talk about that for a minute. For the Tall Tales contest, content, delivery, and language are the criteria. Now, each contest type has specific judging criteria, and this is it again for Tall Tales. For content, it's rated 30%, delivery 55%, and then the language 15%. And again, Debbie and JD will talk about this more in depth on Tuesday, August 27th. Content, weighted at 55%. Content includes speech development. The speech should engage the audience's attention. It should build smoothly to a climax, and it should conclude. It has a conclusion. The next speech is delivery and speech techniques. Exaggeration, irony, pun, humor, surprise, twist are all a part of the Tall Tales speech. Well, let's talk about exaggeration. What is it? It's making something better or worse or more intense than it actually is. For example, that dolphin flipped 200 feet out of the water and came barreling down at 500 miles an hour. And all we heard was, kaboom. That's exaggeration. Irony occurs when what happens is opposite of what was expected. For an example, the temperature in Georgia on July 15, 1904 was 5 below zero, which caught us all by surprise because it was summer in the South. That wasn't expected. And then the next one is pun, a humorous use of a word or phrase that has several meanings or that sounds like another word. An example is Santa Claus's helpers are known as subordinate clauses. For humor, humor is amusing and comical. An example would be, according to Bob Hope, a bank is a place that will lend you money if you can prove that you don't need it. And the last one is a surprise twist. which is a sudden and unforeseen turn of events that ruins what the audience expected. An example of that, in the movie Beauty and the Beast, an arrogant prince is cursed to live as a beast until he learned to love in return. So these are the 5 speech techniques that are included in the Tall Tales speech. Then in the delivery, there's the physical part. Dress. Contestant might want to dress the part. Use props to add value to the speech. Use body language such as gestures, expressions, and body positions to add to the speech. And the next component is voice. Voice has flexibility. It's moving from one pitch to another, and it has a variety of rate and volume. I might say, for real? You have got to be kidding me. I also use sound because it carries the message. It has a variety of rate and volume, and it is clearly heard and easily understood. For example, I climbed that 50-foot hill at lightning speed, only to realize it was the wrong hill. So that's an example of flexibility and sound. Then the last one is language. Appropriateness is the choice of words that are used. It promotes clear understanding of thoughts. It fits the occasion, and it has the proper use of grammar and the correct pronunciation of words and phrases. I have 3 tips for the Tall Tales contest, and I want to share those 3 tips with you. Prepare is the first one. The second one is prepare. And the third tip is prepare. So remember those tips: prepare, prepare, and prepare. Let's talk about planning the contest. The first thing we do is decide if we're going to hold the contest online or in person at the club level. If it's online, the team recommends that you watch the How to Have a Terrific Online Contest on the D14 Training's YouTube channel. That's just simply a recommendation from the team. Some clubs will not hold a contest, but will select a member to compete at the area level. This is permissible, but remember that the member and the club must meet the eligibility requirements I mentioned earlier. And as a suggestion, if the club chooses to send a member to the area contest, have the contestant to give the speech at the club level. In a club meeting, check the timing and then receive feedback so that they don't just go to the area level. I want to use the word unprepared. The next one we want to do is choose a contest chair. Well, what does the contest chair do? Contest chair plans the entire contest, and that person can delegate tasks, oversees all arrangements to include, but are not limited to audio, visual, any other equipment, the publicity, the venue, the contestant eligibility. This person also ensures roles are filled and officials are briefed. And the contest chair can serve as the master of ceremony for the event. This person handles all tasks according to the contest protocol before, during, and after the contest. Again, let me offer, please read the 2024-25 Speech Contest Rulebook. The contest chair also appoints an eligible chief judge, provides certification of eligibility forms to contestants and all judges, confirms the eligibility for contestants and judges, and ensures that all forms are completed and signed. This person also briefs the chief judge on his or her duties and briefs contestants, prepares the certificates, and then submits a notification of winners form to the next level contest chair. We need a contest master. This person works in partnership with the chief judge to be sure that every part of the contest flows well. The contest master knows correct speaking order of contestants, determines how the chief judge is to relay the results, how to handle a protest, and and provides the working timing equipment. For the contestants, read the 2024-25 speech contest rulebook. Review the judging criteria where? On the back of the judge's guide and ballot. Select a topic and prepare their own speech, and they must deliver their own speech. Complete and sign legibly the speaker's certification of eligibility and originality form, and make sure that the contestant's profile form is included, and return all of this to the contest chair. And then the contestants, if there's a briefing, we encourage you to attend. Again, what did I say? Practice, practice, practice. Prepare, prepare, prepare. We also need a chief judge. The first thing, read the contest rule book. The chief judge understands the protest and disqualifications rules before the contest. That person briefs the voting judges, the secret tie-breaking judge. Remember, I said secret tie-breaking judge. That person is not to be known to anybody other than the chief judge, the timers, and the ballot counters. Ensures that all judges, including the tie-breaking judge, have the judge's guide and ballot form, and that is completed, and provides counters with counters tally sheet and timers with the timing record. Acts as the chief counter and oversees the counting process. And then the chief judge provides the results list to the contest master. Voting judges and the tie-breaking judge reads the 2024-25 speech contest rulebook, complete the judge's certification of eligibility form, and return it to the chief judge. Study the judging criteria on the judge's guide and ballot. And that is a suggestion so that by the time you get to the contest, you're familiar with that judging criteria. Voting judges, but not the tie-breaking judge, attends the judge's briefing. And then the judges judge the contestants. Then we have ballot counters. Ballot counters attend the briefing session, review and practice how to complete the tally sheet before the contest, count the ballots, and understand how to break a tie. Timers are as necessary as all other roles. Timers attend the briefing if there is one, reviews the timer sheet before the contest, test the timing equipment before the contest, know the timing requirements for the Tall Tales speech contest, 3 to 5 minutes. Speeches less than 2 minutes, 30 seconds, or more than 5 minutes, 31 seconds will be disqualified. Complete the timer sheet and submit to the chief judge after all the contestants have spoken. So we've got all of our forms. We know what every official does. Let's talk about before the contest. We recommend, or strongly recommend, that you watch the previous contest training videos on the D14 Training's YouTube channel. Confirm that the contestants and judges' eligibility is in place. Brief all officials and contestants before the contest. That means chief judge, contest chair, and everybody else who needs to be briefed. Determine the speaking order and communicate to the chief judge. During the contest, open the contest with a brief introduction. You want to welcome everybody and tell everybody that you're proud that they're there at the contest. And then inform the audience of the contest rules. And contest rules include confirmation of eligibility of contestants, timing requirement for tall tale speeches, protest rules, announcement of results, format for announcing the contestants. We also introduce each contestant during the contest: name, speech title, and name. Upon completion of the speeches, all the judges are to complete their ballots. The counters are to collect the voting judges' ballots, and the chief judge collects the tie-breaking judge's ballot. The contest master interviews the contestants. The chief judge oversees the counting process and addresses any protests and/or disqualifications. And the contest chair or contest master announces the winners and ends the contest. After the contest, there's still work to be done. Complete the notification of winners form. The chief judge does that. And then give this form to the contest chair of the next level contest. So now we've talked about before, during, and after the contest. I want to share with you a few of the contest gotchas. These are mean little minions that can get you if you don't watch out as you're planning your contest. I won't read every one, but I'll just give a few. And these are a few of the gotchas that will get you during the contest, whether it's in person or online, thinking that this will just come together organically, not knowing what roles need to be filled, asking people with no experience to fill major roles. Briefings, assuming that everyone involved already knows what to do, or just letting people figure it out on their own. Not briefing the Zoom masters if it's an online only contest. Not having a specific person or persons responsible for communications such as forms, dates, all those things that are required for everybody, the contestants, the judges, the chief judge, and all. Those things are necessary. Practice, if it's an online contest, we suggest it, thinking that there's no need to practice the event, being too timid to correct things during a practice, and glossing over the major details, and really not sharing any pertinent information or files with the Zoom masters. The contest master gotchas: not introducing the contestants correctly, not knowing the speaking order or speech titles, talking during the moment of silence, and not knowing how to end the contestants' interviews. Before the contest of an online contest: no waiting room, unprepared participants, a delay in moving to the breakout rooms, the judges can be identified, and then having a few technology issues. But again, that's for the online contests. In the waiting rooms for online, starting late, mics and videos on when entering, and just a sloppy contest program and no organized opening. These are just a few. In determining the winners in our contest, another gotcha: voting judges don't know how to complete and submit the ballots. The chief judge doesn't know how to handle protests, and the chief judge does not know how to submit the winners in third, second, and first place order. Before we go to question and answer time, we've talked about what the Tall Tales contest is. We've talked about the timing, the officials and contestants that we need, planning the contest. We've given some examples of the different techniques in the speech. So now I've shared all this information with you. Let's get some questions and answers, and then we'll come back and we'll close out. You are welcome to put your questions in the chat or just raise your hand and ask the question, and the team will answer your questions tonight.
Joanne, we have a question. Do the judges have to be from outside your club?
JD, you are the judge guru. Would you answer that question?
Madam Chair, I'll gladly answer that question. It's a good question. Any Toastmaster from any neck of the woods can judge any other contest. So if you know somebody over in Czechoslovakia and you're having an online contest because he can't fly here, he can still judge no matter where he is.
Thank you, JD. Are there any other questions?
Can I add to the answer that she gave?
Yes.
No.
I was just going to say, when you come to the area, division, and district level contest, if one of your club members is competing on those levels, no, you cannot judge because it would be a conflict of interest. But otherwise, you can.
Thank you for that, Denise. That should be covered when the contest chair or the chief judge checks the eligibility, but that's absolutely something that needs to be taken into consideration. Thank you.
There is another question or comment in the chat that says, on the slide, club level voting judges, we need 5 unless impractical. What I meant by that, sometimes it's hard to find judges and you might not have 5, but have as many as you can get. And JD, add to that for me, please.
The old adage that my parents always told me when I wanted something too expensive, they'd say, you can't get blood out of a turnip. So if you absolutely can't find anyone at judge level, don't sweat it. Make sure that you've got everything else under control, but you can't make a judge appear out of thin air.
Thank you, JD. There's another question. Do we have to have a contest in order to compete at district? Yes.
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 You don't have to have a club contest, but above club, you do.
Thank you for the clarity. Are there any other questions? Yes, go right ahead.
2 things. So I know that the judge certification of eligibility is signed by the chief judge, the voting judges, and the tie-breaking judge. Does the contest chair, ballot counters, and timers have to sign anything as well? Okay, I couldn't remember because I know I had signed something, but I was probably just at a different level. Okay, and then
no, they don't have to sign anything.
Okay, and then lastly, for the people that aren't competing, that aren't giving a speech in it, are they allowed? I'm sure it's probably not or completely discouraged, but are they allowed to double up? Like, is a ballot counter also allowed to be a timer?
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
Please don't double up because you need to give your full attention to what's going on in that room in your little lane. If you do more than one, you're going to be distracted from what your principle is, and it leads to unfair contest. And that's what we're all about, making sure that our contestants are competing on in a fair contest. Just do your one job. Don't double up.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
And think about it too. If you are being a timer, and not everyone has an automated timing light that goes green, yellow, red.
Mm-hmm.
In a district contest, and maybe even in a division, the district has some really tall, big lights that have green, yellow, red, because if you think about being in a district contest, you're in a big ballroom, and that timing table is going to be a little bit out from the stage. If you are operating that timing light, you're not only watching the clock, but sometimes you may have to manually switch that green light on at that 3 minutes and look for that time to go to red, green, yellow for 4 and red for 5. And you still have to watch that timer until that contestant absolutely finishes to make sure they don't go over and end up disqualified. And you would not have time to count and at the same time. So that is one reason that I reiterate that JD said, yes, one job.
Thank you, Denise, for adding that. There is a question, we be sharing the slides. So this whole presentation will be recorded and it will be on the D14 Trainings YouTube channel in the very near future. Are there any more questions?
There's another one in the chat. What % of the speech must be tall tale exaggerated?
The more the better.
I don't think you have to have a certain percentage, but there has to be exaggeration or it's not a tall tale.
It was specified in last week's. It said 75% original.
Oh, no, 75% of it must be original.
Okay.
Content. Original content.
The judges are going to decide how closely a contestant met the criteria that the judges have to use to rank the contestants. So there's no particular percentage that has to be a tall tale. You might hit it on a night where none of the other contestants can spell tall tales, so you're going to win. So there's really, we can't put it down. We can tell you how much can be original, but it's going to depend on the other contestants, you, and the judges for that night.
Well, and
Moral of this story is understand the criteria and do the very best you can.
And really, you want enough exaggeration in it to really to really entertain people. How much you need depends on the topic of your speech and what effect you want to have, how much you want to draw people in. That's all part of, writing your, doing your speech. But 75% does have to be original.
Right.
Which it just means it comes out of your imagination. But
Right.
the level of exaggeration is judged by the judges, as JD said.
Right. So that originality and eligibility form that a contestant signs, that 75% is different than what the judges' criteria and their judgment of that 75% that I signed that says, this is my tall tale. And if I quote anyone that would make it unoriginal, that you would credit them. But of my material that I'm up on the stage talking about, this dolphin jumping 200 feet came out of my imagination.
Any more questions?
Was there something else in the chat?
Not that I see, unless I missed something.
Okay.
No, I don't see
I have
anything.
one. Oh, sorry. If I understood correctly, if a club doesn't have a contest, the participant can can participate in the area, right? So what is the process to do that? Like they have to touch base with who, or what is it?
If a club decides not to have a contest, but they have 8 or more members that are paid, dues are paid, and they're in good standing, and someone from the club wants to volunteer, be voluntold, the club would still need to submit that. Help me out here, my forms are going blank. Who's going to the next level, that still needs to be submitted to the area director or contest chair of the area club contest.
Okay.
I'd like to address some that has come up a lot lately. And that is, if a club can decide who their representative to the area contest is going to be in any manner they choose. But if it's a contest, it has to comply with all the rules and regulations of the Toastmasters speech contest rulebook and forms. But if that representative to the area is just chosen by lottery, sometimes you miss a meeting and you come back and they say, guess what? You are our contestant to the area. So what happens if between the time that you were just chosen without a contest and the area contest, and all of a sudden you can't participate? Can that club designate someone else to be their representative to the area contest? And the answer to that question is nope. If you don't have already have a contest, and that's the only way you can get a runner-up and a third place, then you're just not going to have a representative in that area contest.
Okay.
I want to go back and reiterate a point that we made earlier. Clubs get to choose whether they have an online or in-person contest. However, at the area, division, and districts is in-person only.
Mm.
So beyond the club is in-person only.
And the rule book also states that in person or online at the club level has to be one or the other. Am I right on that, JD?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Joanne, Teresa Middleton had her hand up earlier. Teresa, do you still have a question?
No, I sent it to Joanne. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. I'm so sorry I didn't see your hand.
No worries.
Are there any other questions? I don't see any more in the chat unless I missed.
Did we answer Teresa's?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. When I talked about clubs are only clubs can have an online or in-person contest. It's their choosing, but beyond the club, then it is in-person only.
No. There is a question in the chat and I've just answered. It is asking if the club is hybrid, can the contest be hybrid? And the answer is no. It specifies in the rule book this year that it has to be either totally in person or totally online. And then after going up area level onward is in person only. The rule book stated that they have removed all exceptions that they had in place during COVID.
Okay.
And there's another question in the chat about, we get access to the recording? They were joined late, and yes, as Joanne said earlier, this recording will be up on the speech contest trainings YouTube. So
it will be on the D14 trainings YouTube channel.
Yep. Now give us a little while to get it up there, but yeah, it will be up there.
It will definitely be up before September. Are there any other questions? These are all great questions. Thank you for asking. I hope that we've clarified those for you. I think that Ruth Caproni had another question.
I do. Thank
Go
you.
ahead. Uh-huh.
So I'm looking at the judge's ballot and I see that for each participant, the judge is giving a score for the various criteria. And then adds them up at the bottom. So if a judge ends up with a tie on her personal ballot, does she have the discretion to decide who she wants to choose as first, second, and third?
Oh, please let me answer that. Please let me.
Yes, please.
A judge must break her own ties. And there are 3 ways that she can do that. If she's got a tie, did one of these folks do a little bit better on the criteria, meet the criteria better than the other? If that doesn't break the tie, then you say, is that this is the only other way you can do it, darling? Is that person have the stage presence that I think will take him to the next level? And if that doesn't break it, you go to the 3rd method, and that is, I like her shoes a lot better than I like her shoes. And then boom, you break your tie.
It's
Okay.
You're-
So,
if you do not break your own tie, if you turn in a ballot that has more than one name in a place, you have an invalid ballot and it won't be counted.
okay, so that was an example where there was a tie. But say you're in the judge's seat and you have your ballot in front of you and you've heard 5 contestants. And by the time you've heard all 5, you've decided, really, that number 2, I did not score properly. Do you have the discretion to just choose your one, two, use your point system as a form of note-taking, but you personally make that decision as to who to put first, second, and third?
Understand that no one sees that top portion of your judge's form. Nobody sees that. You can eat it after you turn in your ballot, after you fill out the ballot, just eat the evidence, because nobody can look at that. So any way you want to judge those folks, as long as you make an honest effort to go by the criterion, you'll be good. Does that answer?
That does answer. We've had this discussion in our club, and there were people in the club who said, no, you have to make your vote based on what your score came out. And I did not think that was correct.
It's
Well,
not.
until you turn that bottom part of that ballot in, you can adjust your scoring any way you want.
Yeah, you're gonna tear that bottom part off, and it's not even gonna have what their points were on it. It's just gonna have a third, first, second, third.
Okay.
And you're gonna get 3 points for first, 2 for second, and 1 for third. Am I right on that?
Yes. And the
Okay.
top part, as JD said, you can eat it, you can shred it, but nobody is supposed to see that. You just destroy it after you turn in your ballot.
Okay.
And
And I just want to go back to my initial question about the judges. The judges can be members within the club where you are having your contest.
in the club contest, yeah.
All
At the club level.
all of the officiants can be.
In the club level.
Okay.
Above club level, a judge cannot be a member of the same club as any of the contestants. Above
And
club.
And
But
there
at
is
the
a
club
question
level, they
about
can.
where to get the forms. And Joanne mentioned the club contest kit. Are all the forms in that kit?
And if you will go to Toastmasters International, look under resources, it will bring you up to, you'll see the tab for speech contest. Click on speech contest and it takes you directly to the forms and all of the other information that you need to know about what you need. So Toastmasters, and then click on the resources tab.
Sometimes it can get a little convoluted in there, but if you can always contact one of the team. We can help you too.
Absolutely. If you like, I'll email you the kit myself. If you need me to do that, I'll be delighted to do that. Any other questions?
just to follow up with that, Joanne,
Uh-huh.
getting them from the TI website ensures that you are getting the most current form.
Mhm.
But that is something that the team is working toward, getting that information on our website so that you won't have to hunt and peck for things. So
Thank you, Debbie. Yes.
We have, is it Francis? I can't catch the name in the chat.
Doreen, yes.
Doreen Francis.
Yep, it's Jareem. I found the
Did you-
kit and I'm downloading it now for the Tall Tales
Oh,
contest.
sweet.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
This has been wonderful.
If there are no other questions, then we will share some other information with you and give you some reminders. I want to remind everybody that we had how to hold a Tall Tales contest tonight. Next week, JD Dirkschneider and Debbie Thompson are going to talk about Tall Tales judging criteria for judges and contestants. So if there's anybody in your club who has expressed an interest in being a contestant, please ask them to attend next week's training. I want to also point you back to the District 14 trainings YouTube channel under speech contest training. If you will go back and look at the training videos, how to have a fabulous contest, how to chair and master a fabulous contest, contest basics for contestants, how to be a law-abiding judge, how to be an honorable chief judge, how to have a terrific online contest, and breaking ballot room ties. And coming soon, 8 ways to get kicked out of a speech contest. Everything that you need to know about getting kicked out of a contest. We are so grateful that you came tonight. We hope that we answered all of your questions. If you have additional questions, please feel free to reach out and we will do our very best to get your answers. And given that, we will ask you to have an exaggeratorific Tall Tales contest. Now, I do have a disclaimer. This is not an official word in anybody's dictionary, but it's fun for this contest season in the fall. So have a great night, everybody. And thank you again for being here.